The start of the 2022 season kicks off with the West Coast swing. We are finally done with Daytona. The Daytona 500 went to Jake Baskinger. Baskinger and Weeks finished off Daytona Speed Weeks with the win at the Battle of the Beach. Coming into this event, it is Baskinger and Weeks that are atop the championship standings, with Richard Johnson, a two-time champion, old veteran, third in the point standings, and the surprise in storylines for this weekend, Anthony Marchese. He failed to qualify in pre-qualifying for Rodriguez Racing, and North Border Motorsports took Bobo Jones out of the car, and Anthony Marchese drove for North Border Motorsports last season, and they have an alliance with Rodriguez Racing. They put Marchese in the 33 car. He starts out back in the 33 machine. That team had to use a provisional to make the race anyhow, but that is Marchese behind the wheel. He comes into this race fourth in the point standings. A good start to the championship season. Well, need to get as much points as possible. He'll start from dead last. Charles Sanford making up the top 5 in the standings coming into tonight's race. Need to kind of keep that streak alive for these guys high in the point standings. It's still very close. The third race of the 2022 season is about to get under the way. DJ Curtis leads the field to green again. For the second time this season, in just 3 races, DJ Curtis and his Mercedes is out front and on pole position. Jesse Cunner, the defending champion of the series. It's kind of had a rough going, really tough race out there at the Battle of the Beach. Car 17, Jesse Tunner, won this race last time we were out at Las Vegas. He's looking to go back-to-back at Las Vegas in 2022 after winning last season. Zayden Davidson, miserable run in the 500, but came up runner-up in the Battle of the Beach at Daytona. The Mercedes looking very good early on. Matthew Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez and Davidson in car 9 and 91, they're the only drivers that qualified inside the top 10 that also practiced inside the top 10. The caution flag is out. You see the caution lights are on, and it looks like Peter Onjak in the 66 has been involved in a crash, and possibly some other ones involved. Peter Onjak did pretty well in qualifying. Let's see what happens here. Going down into turn 1, he gets hooked by Dylan Schwellenberg back up the racetrack. A pretty nasty incident. James Shelley, Zachary Fitzwater, Matt DeLeo. DeLeo practiced with an amazing time in practice. He's going to be involved in this one. And Ryan Reed. Reed in the 40 car did good to get Texan Motorsports in the field. And that car looks like it's going to be done for the day. Smoke coming out of that race car. Mitchell Collins in the Busch machine is all wadded up and coming back to pit road. I'm going to try and get another view of this. Did Dylan hook him, or did it look like Peter cut over in front of Dylan Schwellenberg? It looked like Schwellenberg was trying to make a pass on Peter Onjak and back up the racetrack. And he just couldn't hold the car down the inside. Slid back up in front of traffic. And James Shelley, this is the 3rd race in a row to kickstart the 2022 season. He's been involved in an accident. Another view of it from the helicopter cam. Dylan Schwellenberg didn't qualify all too well. A lot of good cars qualified out back, but had good cars. And Schwellenberg goes to the inside, but Peter cuts down to the inside to try and make a pass on Alex Bignacco. And the 66 goes around. Dylan Schwellenberg in the Rodriguez Racing Camry slams on brakes. Jacob Park, Peter Onjak's teammate, goes right for the middle. Collins, Reed, Shelley, Fitzwater. And here comes DeLeo. A lot of the cars that qualified out back. This is why you really need a good qualifying and starting position, because you never know what can happen in front of you. It's hard to miss an accident and slam on the brakes like these guys had to do in turn 1 on lap 2. Riding on board with Zachary Fitzwater. He comes flying in here. Shelley and them slammed on the brakes, but Fitzwater not able to get on the brakes. Oh, and Fitzwater got slammed by Matt DeLeo. Fitzwater's going to keep on going, but Shelley, you see the engine is up in smoke. It's liable to be another DNF for James Shelley. All of the leaders are on pit road, and they're just topping off with fuel. Some of the leaders, like DJ Curtis, Jesse Tunner, and Charles Sanford, all topped off with fuel. But Matthew Rodriguez is taking tires, so a mixed bag with some strategy. Zayden Davidson also took some tires. Matt Rodriguez went with all 4. So, only 2 laps of green flag racing under their belt, and some of them decided to change tires while some went with fuel only. Going to come back to the green, Matt DeLeo, just like Samuel England from the battle at the beach, a wheel and modified on the racetrack. He's to the inside of DJ Curtis. He's in 38th, 1 lap down. The 4 cars out of the race. Peter Onjack, Mitchell Collins, Ryan Reed, and James Shelley all out of the race. DJ Curtis with a big jump on the rest of the leaders. Jesse Turner in car 17. He lined up in 2nd place. Charles Sanford was in 3rd. Oh my goodness, nearly a spin. Joseph Shriley nearly got spun off the bumper there. And further back, Matt DeLeo really slowing up the pack. Another accident. Everyone's spinning down at turn 3. Wadded him up. It's the big one at Las Vegas. Probably 7 cars. I seen 7 or 8, 9 cars piled up in the banking in turn 3. Vince Freeze, who was fast in practice, wadded up. Jacob Hart is in trouble. Nick Mace was involved in that. Daniel Bouchard, Jeffrey White, and Stephen Pollard III. I had a bad feeling about this as soon as I saw how slow that 88 car was on the restart. Matt DeLeo in the Brady Enterprises car was top 10 in practice, didn't have a whole lot of qualifying speed, got wiped out in that wreck in lap 2, unfortunately, but he was just so slow in turn 3, everyone just bottomed up. There's Anthony Marchese, Ryan Acosta, Vince Freeze, the 74, Tyler Black. A lot of contenders getting wiped up in the banking in turn 3. Trying to get a slow-mo of this. Cole Baker is all over the back end of Matt DeLeo. Eric Tamax has had a lot of bad luck, really. He's been managed to finish on the lead lap in every race so far. Jeff James, Dylan Young. Looked like DeLeo maybe wanted to come to pit road or something. I don't know. He was very slow. They bottomed up a lot. DeLeo goes to the apron, but Nick Mace ran over Daniel Bouchard. That's what caused the stack up. And it crashed behind him. Samuel England, the 82 Red Bull, spinning with his teammate Daniel Bouchard. Marchese trying to follow Jake West, just clips Stephen Pollard III. And Marchese in the 33. A one-off attempt. They're hoping they won't fail to qualify for the 54 many more times. Marchese enters this race high in the points after some amazing runs of finishing in the top 10 in every race so far. Benyako misses this accident. Hayden Klein misses it. Fitzwater's able to miss this one. Tyler Black in the 74. This is their 3rd provisional they had to make in that 74 Spartan Motorsports entry. They won't have one at California for the 4th round of the season. They won't earn another one until after round 10. So they'll have to qualify into every other race after this unless they can manage to get in the top 30 in owner points. Bouchard in 84, you see just a bunch of cars wadded up, and another accident down in turn 3. On board with Jeffrey White. White was the last car on the high side that didn't make it through. This is how it happened. They just all bottomed up on the inside, and they came flying up the racetrack. And that was all because Matt DeLeo in the 88 Brady Enterprises car was massively off the pace. He went down pit road in turn 3 and 4, so yeah, he was trying to get to pit road, but man, unfortunate for all those drivers. Everyone leaving pit road. DJ Curtis is on pit road for quite a while. Some drivers don't know if they took tires or not. Jesse Turner got out first. Cody Lamas, Sean Harple, Chris Dodd, and Charlie Smith, the top 5. A lot of different strategies getting played out. Jesse Turner is in the lead with Cody Lamas, Sean Harple, Chris Dodd, Charlie Smith, Zayden Davidson, Matt Rodriguez, James Silverfox. They all took gas on pit road, no tires for any of the top 8. DJ Curtis with his teammate Cole Baker making up the top 10. Baker in the 99 also took gas. Charles Sanford, I think, took tires. It's going to be a mixed bag of strategy on the racetrack. So, many drivers going to be taking 4. And see, track position may end up being key for some of these drivers, like Chris Dodd and Charlie Smith getting up here with the leaders. And James Silverfox started way out back, I believe, and he's in the top 10. These 2 caution flags that have happened within 12 laps. It's really shaking up their running order. And Sean Harple is going after Cody Lamas down in turn 1. Lamas shutting the door. Chris Dodd making a move on Sean Harple for 3rd position. Now Chris Dodd and Allen Family Racing Team have not had a good start to the season at all. They're down in the 30s in points and desperately need a turnaround. Art and Dodd, even all the way back to preseason, they have just not had a whole lot of speed. None of the team was able to make it into the main event for Battle at the Beach, and that was very disappointing. And for Dodd to blow an engine a couple of laps away from transferring to the main event. Dodd running in 3rd position. This team has ran very well at Las Vegas in the past. And, well, they're hoping to get to victory lane tonight. They're looking pretty competitive, holding on with Lamas and Turner. Turner and Lamas, though, trying to stretch the margin. Matthew Rodriguez going underneath of Charlie Smith for 6th position. Rodriguez has been fast in practice, fast in qualifying. We mentioned it at the start of the show that Rodriguez and Davidson have been the only drivers to be inside the top 10 in both practice and qualifying. So we know that Rodriguez and Davidson look very fast, and the fact that they're here in the top 10 is not surprising today. Davidson very close to winning last time out against Daytona Weeks. And speaking of Daytona Weeks, Weeks enters this race 2nd in the point standings. There's Jake Baskinger. Baskinger is currently 19th, but Daytona he started out back and he's not been able to work his way forward as well. He's not been involved in anything. So Daytona should have a good car and a clean race car, but he's fighting with Will Goss, and with Jeff James just behind him, he's back in 25th position. DJ Curtis trying to show his muscle. He's the first car on fresh tires, so he looks like he's going to be quicker as the run progresses. And Curtis underneath of Sean Harple. James Silverfox going to follow him through. And Silverfox passes his teammate. Now, Silverfox on race day looked like he was getting beat by his teammate Sean Harple more often than not. And Silverfox always did really well in qualifying. And Silverfox has had a good start to the season in the point standings, and same with Sean Harple. Silverfox is 8th in points entering this race. Charles Sanford, he comes in this race in the top 5 in points. So a lot of drivers running really well. Joseph Shrigley, he's outside the top 10 points, but he is in 10th position, and Richard Johnson back there in 11th. A lot of drivers running really well in the first 3 rounds, showing promise to what could be an amazing 2022 season. Richard Johnson down the inside of Sean Harple, trying to take 10th place away. Season 1 and Season 5 champion. Had a terrific second half of the year with Monster Energy Racing in the 47 car. Last season had moved his way up all the way up to 13th in the point standings at the conclusion of 2021. And Richard Johnson is not showing any signs of slowing down. 3rd in points entering this race, and looks to eye another 3 top 10s to start the year as he passes Sean Harple, Eric Tamax just outside of a top 10 run. They continue to race aggressively further up inside the top 5. Matt Rodriguez to the inside, Charles Sanford going to the outside, and Sanford making that pass on Matt Rodriguez. DJ Curtis to the outside, gonna follow his teammate Zayden Davidson. Further up ahead though, Jesse Turner still has Cody Lamas planted on the back end of that Aflac Ford. And Lamas looks pretty quick. Dodd is right there. All of the leaders still right within a touch of taking the race lead. Pit stops are going to be coming up very shortly. Curtis to the outside of his teammate Zayden Davidson. Looks like he's going to easily take over 4th position, but Davidson really checked up in turn 3. That allows Curtis to have no challenge behind him, and he's going to try and chase down Chris Dodd. Silverfox to the inside of Charles Sanford. Sanford's in a little bit of a trouble spot there. He got really loose down there in 1 and 2. He was challenging with Davidson, lost that position, and Silverfox was able to get by him. And Matthew Rodriguez in the 9 has Richard Johnson all over him. Shrigley to the inside. Johnson trying to shut the door on Harple. Harple just outside. He's in 11th. And then you see DeMax in 12th, Griffin 13th. See, there's just racing all over right now. Richard Johnson working on Matthew Rodriguez, but that top side really kicking in. The leader has ran up on Zachary Fitzwater. Jesse Turner loses the lead because of the lap car. Here's what happened. Jesse Turner ran up on the back end of Zachary Fitzwater, and Cody Lamas went to the inside, and Turner was looking for any way to get by him, but got pinned up behind the 22 Camry. And Cody Lamas, Chris Dodd, and DJ Curtis all go by Jesse Turner. Cody Lamas is going to come down pit road. DJ Curtis and Chris Dodd stay out. Dodd went a little too high. Here comes DJ Curtis. Curtis, the 19, going to fight his way back to the front. Cody Lamas with the undercut strategy. Going to have to see if that pays off. But Curtis to the inside and back to the lead, but he's going to be down pit road very shortly. Down pit road, DJ Curtis, Chris Dodd, Jesse Turner, and Charles Sanford. What a move by Zayden Davidson. Davidson round the outside of all of them. He's going to lead them down pit road. Well, as pit stops have cycled out, still going to have some more pit stops to do today. Cody Lamas in his Lowe's Camaro is out front with Zayden Davidson in second, Chris Dodd third, Matt Rodriguez, Sean Harple fourth and fifth, Charles Sanford, DJ Curtis, Alex Peñaco, Cole Baker, Joseph Shrigley, the top 10. Then outside of the top 10, Dylan Schrellenberg. Then it's Richard Johnson, Jake Baskinger, Jesse Turner, James Silverfox, Ryan Griffin, Eric DeMax, and Jake West having a heck of a ride today in that 96 Challenger. He's in 18th. 19th is Jeff James, and 20th is John Art. And Nick Mason's got a beaten up Chevrolet, torn up in the back end, and Dejon Weeks is not having a good race at all. We're hearing that 30 car is likely down on power. Richard Johnson doing pretty well in the 47, but Weeks has just had no horsepower today and has not been able to go anywhere. He's been outside the top 20 all race long and has not been a factor all race. Stephen Pollard III, Dylan Young, and Charlie Smith make up the top 25. Stephen Pollard III, I think we talked about it a little bit, but Texan Motorsports. Stephen Pollard III was fastest of his Gorg home qualifying, even better than Jesse Turner in pre-qualifying. And with guys like Anthony Marchese being sent home, you know this team is pulling out all the stops. Texan Motorsports failed to qualify for every Sony Cup Series race they attempted in 2021. And Pollard III, he's an experienced driver, but he is up there in age. And, well, just like Richard Johnson, Stephen Pollard III is still finding a way to get the finishes that team deserves. Had a really good run in the Daytona 500. They didn't advance to the main event for the Battle of the Beach, but, you know, 27th place points, it pays a good bit. You know, 16 points for failing to make the main event. You know, that's not that bad. And Stephen Pollard III right now, 25th. You know, that's 18 points right now running in 25th. And this little team right here, they have the goal of trying to run in the top 30 race on race. And they have an experienced driver to do that, and they want to be in the top 30 in owner points. And right now, they're inside the top 20 after 2 races. So, Stephen Pollard III giving this 21 ride a good ride in Las Vegas. For laps on laps, the race for the lead has been going on just like this. Cody Lamas and Zayden Davidson. And Zayden Davidson, I think, is going to clear Cody Lamas off turn 2. Lamas trying to fight it back on the back straightaway. Chris Dodd, Matt Rodriguez, Sean Harple, they are all still there. But it's Zayden Davidson trying to power back. And Davidson takes the lead from Cody Lamas. Chris Dodd trying to follow through. Dodd and Allen Family Racing Team have struggled. They have been a storyline all 2022 season. Not only have they had poor finishes in the first 2 races of this season, preseason testing has been miserable, and the press has really been roasting that Allen Family Racing Team, that how could they have won 8 races in 2019, and 2022 they are just nowhere compared to everyone else. And well, Chris Dodd is shutting everybody down here tonight, and he's trying to race against Zayden Davidson and Cody Lamas for the win. We're past halfway, and all the chips are down on the table. And well, got one more pit stop to do tonight, and they've done a heck of a job. That Hot Wheels car has been hot tonight, And, well, a top 5 run would be justice for this race team. But Zayden Davidson, he finally got clear of Cody Lamas, and he's checking out. On pit road for the final time tonight, Cody Lamas in his low Chevrolet brings Matthew Rodriguez down pit road. It's the money stop. Zayden Davidson and his Mercedes team needs to be perfect. Same with Chris Dodd. DJ Curtis has been able to stay with them guys as well. This is the time. You have to deliver on this final round of pit stops. Gonna need to see where everyone lines up. Jake West has stayed out. He is the race leader. But see where everyone lines up whenever they leave pit road. Cody Lamas did the undercut strategy again, but there's Zayden Davidson in the 91. He's going to lose the lead to Cody Lamas. Lamas takes the lead with less than 30 laps to go, and Zayden Davidson looks like he's going to lose second position as well. Matthew Rodriguez goes by. Rodriguez pitted with Cody Lamas, the undercut strategy, and Rodriguez is up to second position. We're hearing there was a mechanical failure for the 43 of John Arndt. Arndt in the 43 was running just outside of the top 15, and that team has not had a top 30 finish in the first 3 rounds. Arndt was credited with finishing 27th at Battle of the Beach. Didn't finish in the top 30. Actually, I think he finished in the 40s in the 500. So Arndt has been off on a wrong foot this season. And Allen Family Racing Team, they've had a great run tonight with Chris Dodd, but it's going to be behind the wall and out of the race for John Arndt and the 43 team, I believe. With 25 laps to go, Cody Lamas is out front against Matthew Rodriguez in second position. Zayden Davidson riding in third. Sean Harple in UER has risen to the occasion. And Harple's in fourth. Alex Bignacco has came from nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Alex Bignacco is in the top 5. I don't think Bignacco has been in the top 10 all night, but I believe Bignacco has short pitted, and that's the reason he's up here. Short pitting was very beneficial, it seems. Cole Baker did the same thing. He's in 6th position ahead of DJ Curtis. Dylan Schwellenberg, Jake Baskinger. Baskinger has not been in the top 10 all night. And the point leader is back in the top 10 places ahead of Charles Sanford and Richard Johnson. Sanford has been in the top 10 all race long, but Richard Johnson, his own teammate, to the inside, trying to get back there. Johnson blocking Shrigley. Shrigley wants to get back in the top 10. Shrigley's got a competitive car this season, I can tell. He used that car for all it was worth in the Battle of the Beach. Raced that way, or actually he didn't race his way in. He had to drop to the back in the Daytona 500, but he was still competitive there. And Shrigley in the top 15. Silver Fox as well in the 34. There's a lot of guys right there. You know, Bassinger, Sanford, Johnson, Shrigley, Silver Fox, all of those guys had really good runs in the first 2 races, and right now they're having solid performances, very consistent. Maybe some of them are just outside of a top 10 run, but still that is a lot of points on the board to be in the top 15. And a great start to the 2022 season, but they want more. Sanford is after Bassinger, and Schwellenberg is after Curtis. Matthew Rodriguez, with 20 to go, has emerged as the late race favorite. And Rodriguez is pressurizing Lamas all the way. He looks better than the 48 at this point. And Matthew Rodriguez, I'd have to look back at my notes, but Matthew Rodriguez has been the mile-and-a-half king, it seems, in the last handful of races. He's going to the inside of Lamas. Rodriguez won at Kansas last season. Rodriguez won at Atlanta last season. And Matthew Rodriguez takes the lead from Cody Lamas. What a statement by Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez always tends to do this. He's very quiet with the way he comes up to the front at the end and takes the victory. Matthew Rodriguez is awful consistent, and that's how he almost won the championship in 2020. And Rodriguez wants to get back there and have a chance to win his first ever title. Well, what better way to do it than making your statement early on in the year when everything is all down on the table. Lamas, Davidson, Harpel, and Benyako, 5 cars within 1 second of each other with 18 to go. Came back at last race's winner, Baskinger Weeks. Battle at the beach did not disappoint for him, but for Weeks, Las Vegas, man, it has been down the toilet. And Weeks in that 30 car, he's just not been able to get inside the top 20 all night. His teammate Richard Johnson is racing to finish inside the top 10. And for Dajon, this has got to be a miserable run that he's not able to be inside the top 20. I don't know what's wrong with that race car. It's got to be some sort of failure, that they've missed the setup or something. Weeks is just off the pace, and he's been like that all race. And with 15 to go, he's been a non-factor all race long. Another driver that has kind of faded as the race went on is Jesse Turner. Turner was up front racing for the lead and the win today, but the second half of the race has just not gone his way. Turner is 16th, and he's getting properly beat today. Everyone else has just made adjustments and made their car better, and Turner's just not been able to cut through the traffic. He's outside the top 15, racing with Cole Baker and Ryan Griffin. Griffin was inside the top 15 early, and Griffin, he's also struggled to keep up with some of these guys. Jake West has surprised me all race. He's been right there in 18th. Johnson in the 47, losing positions. Here comes Silver Fox. Here comes the Max. Silver Fox, another good solid run. His teammates up there in the top 5, though. Chris Dodd is spell outside the top 10. He's in 11th. We were just focused on Chris Dodd, who was in 11th position. He has lost 5 spots in only a couple of laps. And Dodd losing positions quickly. For 7th position is on. Tyler Black held up Dylan Schwellenberg just enough. And Baskinger may be able to get 7th place away. The top side's been a very good groove all race. Been hard to make some passes as the tire wears kicked in. But Jake Baskinger, the Daytona 500 champion and the points leader, is up another position. It's been a spin on the back straightaway. Somebody's been in trouble, and it's Chris Dodd. The guy that was just backing up a few laps ago has backed into the wall. Here's what happened. Gonna get a replay. Chris Dodd was in trouble and was losing some positions, and it looked like he was off the pace. Jake West looks like he's gonna get into him and spin Chris Dodd around, and there was a little area right there, the opening, and Dodd was able to keep it straight, and the officials did not throw the yellow flag for that. They are still racing. When we get back to the start-finish line, it will be 2 laps of racing to go. Matthew Rodriguez, somebody is pitting. Stephen Pollard III, that's a shame. Pollard III was running in 26, last on the lead lap, and he has to come down pit road. 2 laps to go. Matthew Rodriguez leads over Cody Lamas and Zayden Davidson. Rodriguez, I'd have to check and see. For Matthew Rodriguez to check and see what his win tally would even be. Rodriguez is searching for his 14th win in the Sony Cup Series. Rodriguez Racing has always been able to find their way to victory lane and challenge for championships. Dylan Schwellenberg emerged as a title favorite last season, and Matthew Rodriguez was never really a title factor in 2021. Kind of fell adrift after the 2020 season. But Matthew Rodriguez in 2022, in only 3 races in, is going to put a win on the board. Matthew Rodriguez rounding turns 3 and 4, takes the lead late, and leads home Cody Lamas. Matthew Rodriguez wins at Las Vegas. Matthew Rodriguez again is victorious on a 1.5-mile racetrack. One at Las Vegas. Today, one at Atlanta near the end of last season, and Kansas midway through of last season. I think there might be another race I'm forgetting. Matthew Rodriguez has always ran so well at tracks like this. And the Atlanta is going to be the season finale for this season. So that only puts it right up Matthew Rodriguez's alley once again. And Rodriguez, he was in a fight to win the title in 2020. And Charlotte, he looked like he had an amazing car, got wrecked early on. And Rodriguez still says what could have been in that race if had he not been taken out by John Art in that race. And Rodriguez is hoping to bounce back. 2021 wasn't quite the year he would have wanted, but this season, he's already looking strong. And Matthew Rodriguez is victorious at Las Vegas. Cody Lamas was very quick today. Same with Zayden Davidson. That's your podium right there with Rodriguez, Lamas, and Davidson. Sean Harple, another good run for Harple for UER. And that Mercedes and Cybertron Motorsports partnership is working out very nicely for them. Harple, the inaugural Hardy's National Series champion, is finally getting the performance and the results to show the skill he has in the Sony Cup Series. Alex Bignacco gets CM Racing a top 5 result. 2 Chevys in the top 5. DJ Curtis a solid outing in 6th place. Jake Baskinger holds on to the championship lead again. He's in 7th tonight, continuing that streak of top 10 results. Baskinger and Sanford are the only drivers so far this season to finish in the top 10 in all 3 races so far. Dylan Schwellenberg gets a good run in 8th. We already talked about Sanford in 9th. And Joseph Shrigley, again, rounds out the top 10. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after Las Vegas.